you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening and welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister Idris Taha, and with me we have my brother and partner, Brother Fakir Abdulaziz, the co-host, and Lord Holy-Apostle Deen, the messenger prophet of Ahezaah Allah for this day. May Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be with everyone's presence. And I wish you A.H.A.D out there in New York, the greater New York area, may Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be with your presence as well. I hope you've enjoyed the two parts we did on Satan or evil, or the or what Ahezaah breaking down now, the reality of evil is being in opposition to the Lord Most High and El. But this is our third part conversation, and I've been enjoying this conversation. I hope you've been enjoying the program because it's definitely an educational experience sitting up here with the message of Ahezaah Allah, because with us here, even though we sit on the panel with him, it's still an educational. And that's the thing we're trying to point to y'all, is bringing education to those who never thought or looked at things in this particular light. So with that being said, my brother had a question he was trying to address prior to the show, you know, because it's all good that what Ahezaah's giving here in this hour of the day. And
I was trying to I remember I was trying to get to the question concerning evil. I was trying to get to the but okay. in posing the question, I implied about what the believers were.
Right.
And in that question, it was broken down to me. It was broken down to us as to what truly a believer is, and that believer is someone that is in whole and totally is Ahezaah. The believer is Ahezaah, and those who are other believers are at one with Ahezaah in that, in their own scope, you know. So and then that, but the show had closed out before we could get to the ultimately for me to first recover from my being corrected, and then after that to pose the question that those believers, those who are of the believers, truly of the believers, the messengers, the prophets, yourself, Holy Queen Mother, those are those who have been delivered from evil, per se.
Yes, they've been saved. That's how Jesus knew the Savior. And people want to turn around and give Jesus some power and ownership that they don't have. That's why the Lord sent the message down to Muhammad to tell him, tell your people, they're setting not up and equal with me. I'll forgive you for everything except setting up and equal with me, because the people before you, the people with the book before you and your people, they set up and equal with me. Like the people before them amongst the Nords who set up various gods instead of recognizing my attributes of the one God, El, or a God of the faith. They took Udin, the God of the faith, and then they took many other attributes and said they were separate gods. And then they made men supposedly gods. When we say God, we talking about beings of ultimate power, you know. And it said don't do that, you know, because that's not, you know, it don't appreciate that from us to set up and equal with it. And the believers that are of it, they come in degrees, and as they grow in their belief, the belief that it gives them, what in essence what it is doing is giving that belief factor is its mental position.
Okay.
A true prophet, a true enlightened one, a true messenger of the Lord has no position of his or her own. Okay. And as they go on in their growth, the more they grow in it, the less they be of themselves. And when I say of themselves, their opinions about life and things, and their attachments, their concerns for life and things, they become more of just it. Whatever it wants, that's what it wants. Whatever it be, that's what it is. That whatever it show me, that's what it show me. Somebody might come and say, so what you gonna do tonight? I have no idea. Why you don't have an idea? My Lord didn't tell me what I'm gonna do tonight. Well, tell me, give me this. Are you going here or you going just by percentage wise? I can't give you percentage. Give me something. Okay, if the Lord wills, I'll be there.
Okay.
To some people, like he said, okay, that's a yes. That's not a yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people play on that, as Allah wills. What does that mean? Because everything is as Allah wills.
Mm-hmm.
So I still haven't given you a precise answer. I've just said, okay, well, if the Lord wills, I'll be there. That sounds more acceptable to you. I've said the same thing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. But it's more palatable the way you said it, because it gives people the
Why is it that people need that instead of the truth outright? Jesus said meat for men and milk for babes.
That's right.
Right?
Yes, it did.
So we have to be deceivers in our language so that somebody give us peace. They said Jesus was all about peace, and the devil wasn't in him at all. He had no problem. Well, before Jesus went away to Egypt to be taught and to become enlightened, before John baptized him as part of the ritual of his enlightenment, Jesus knew evil. Jesus was a bad kid.
Yeah.
He was haughty, and John was telling him, Jesus coming back. Jesus wilding than me. Jesus coming back. Huh? And when Jesus came in peace to bring the word of peace and the word of truth to his people and to the people who were the politicians of that time, Jesus came as an iconoclast. And what is an iconoclast? A true iconoclast. One who comes to tear down the organized religions, the organized establishment of the society. Not somebody where they try to call the devil, trying to call iconoclast, putting them on cable vision, talking about modern day iconoclast, and then they put up some actor from the stage.
Powerful men with money.
Yeah, powerful men. They're not iconoclasts. Jesus was an iconoclast. Muhammad was an iconoclast. Somebody who come to break the back of the system for the Lord. And they have no choice in the matter. You can call me that.
Definitely.
I have no choice in the matter. Just like Jesus, my words bring war. I'm not trying to bring war. Jesus didn't try to bring war, but Jesus was bringing war when he spoke against the established government, when he spoke against the Romans, when he spoke against the Jews who did not bow down and stay in right order like the Essenes were doing. He was bringing war with his very words. I remember my brother was trying to convince me about that in the beginning, 30 years ago. He said, "You bringing war?" I said, "Nah, I'm not bringing war." Well, actually, it wasn't 30 years ago, but I seen him again not long ago, about 10, 15 years ago, whatever. He said, "You bringing war?" I said, "No, I'm bringing peace." He said, "No, you're not bringing peace. You're bringing war." I said, "No, brother, I'm speaking Allah's words of peace, man." He said, "And that's war." I said, "And you're right." I didn't want to say it, but I had to acknowledge, you're right. My words bring about a revolution in people. Right now, we got people sitting out here in our television audience, some burning angry because of the very things we say in offense, in opposition to what they have believed or understood about the holy books or about the prophets of old or about the people of the book before this day. Even about themselves and their social situations.
Bring about
war within themselves.
It's funny that Ahezaah mentioned that through you, because as a sign of the seal breaking this hour today, those who mistranslated the book of Revelation, for example, and interpolated that Jesus was to come back.
Yes.
And not Samuel the reresurrected, the line of the root of David.
Right.
Is to come back in this day. And Ahezaah said that he would speak with the tongue with two edges, cutting to and fro with the truth. Because you bring out your truth, people gonna pull out their falsehood, take out that negative out of them, and infusing them with the truth. Now they accept it or not, that's a whole other matter.
Right.
But you bringing it forth into them and pulling out all that's hidden, gonna come manifest now if they're evil or they're devil. It's gonna be shown to them.
Well, look at the worldwide conspiracy that they have against the chosen people today.
That's right.
I kind of sometimes, man, they kind of like pale on me, man, when I say the chosen people. the Lord chose our African American people as a chosen people, but who believe it? The African Americans don't believe it themselves.
Right.
And when we say that, they say we're far fetched. Man, get out of here! You talking that stuff, man? People been talking that stuff for years, and look at us. The only chosen place we going is to the White House.
Right.
You know, and now Obama has become a saint. You hear ministers in the church saying, "Lord, we thank you, Lord, for Barack Obama." Wait a minute, that man ain't did nothing yet.
Right.
That's like saying, "Oh Lord, I thank you," when your wife get pregnant. "Oh Lord, I thank you for this baby." That baby grow up and be Hitler.
Yeah.
Or worse. Be like Hitler or worse. The people who had Hitler prayed and thanked the Lord.
He was a baby.
It was a baby.
That's right.
Bonaparte, all the rest of them. Thank the Lord. Was happy with him. Now we thanking the Lord in church for a man that ain't proved himself to be righteous of the Lord itself.
Right.
Woe unto you who would throw swine before the throne of the Lord.
That's right. Right.
Huh? And say this is good.
Really?
See, those are the advocates of the devil, the supporters of the devil that sit and stand in them churches and say things like that. Walk with people and preach that stuff, man, and took the enemies of the Lord and joined them together in one of the greatest forces since the time of Jesus. Back with the church and the state together, working against the common folk. How you go from church and the masjid and the mosque to the White House?
Well, it's always,
or the Pentagon?
Oh, definitely.
Praying in the Pentagon, to kissing the Pope's hand, and turning your people to what the one that's talked about in Revelation. How you go there?
That's right.
So who's ruling? Those of evil is ruling, but the Lord is letting them throw their whole hand down in society.
Like the time of Moses. They cast first.
You can't beat the Lord. You're not going to beat it. You could be out there in the audience angry all you want, but I'm only the message bearer.
Those people are angry in the audience. They're not realizing that those people that go to the Pentagon and pray, they're playing on the people like, all right, we're going to make the government softer. We're going to make them friendlier. We're going to make the war more.
No, you ain't making nothing. It's the opposite of the way around. Come to the Pentagon and pray. We're going to make the people think that you making some inroads with us.
Right.
When you're not making no inroads, you're going to come in, pray in this room, and you're going to do it at this time. We're going to announce that you're doing it, and we want you to do this, that, and the other too. You ain't pushing nothing on the government. Let me tell you something. Martin Luther King and Louis Farrakhan, they marched hundreds of thousands or millions or whatever to the White House, didn't they? Didn't the powers that be say you can't march up this street, you can't march up that street, you can't come at this time, you got to break up at that time, you got to do this, you got to do that. How you marched on somebody?
Right.
You ain't, no, Hitler marched on somebody.
Yeah.
Huh? He ain't get permission to go here or there.
Yeah.
This is our country, our society.
Right.
Now if the people get together and try to march on Washington without permission, they're liable to get killed.
Oh yeah.
So you ain't gonna tell the government what you doing. You're not gonna do it. And all this little joke they be playing, like laying in the street so you get locked up, so you can get your name put in the paper that you got locked up for your reprisal. What kind of fake reprisal is that? You get locked up, get a biscuit, and go home. Huh?
Right.
Some juice. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm gonna tell you, if you are really with the Lord, and you're really giving the Lord's message, not your own, then they want to find a way to assassinate you.
Yeah.
They want to find a way to cut you off. They want to do something because they know that they stand against the Lord. They stand against its rules, its regulations. They make up their own rules and regulations. And they make them sound like if it's Allah's will, palatable.
Right. Yeah, they do.
Huh?
They do.
They make it seem as they make it acceptable to the people. But they going to do what they want to do. Like we say, politics is polite callings. But after they call you politely, then they going to force you to do what they want you to do anyway. Huh?
Right.
And the crazy thing about this society, you hire people to rule you, and then you can't fire them because of the rules they write against your firing them. And then they lock you up injustifiably, and you can't go and grab your people and say, hey, wait, let's fire this one and let's fire that, because they ain't right. Because in this land of the so-called free, you got hundreds of millions of people with hundreds of millions of different ideas, and everybody wants to be the one.
Yeah, true.
When if they let the Lord be the one, then they'll have a great force. But everybody can't agree on that.
Yeah.
Never have been able to.
Because of their own individual ideas.
Because of that evil. Because of that separation from the Lord. See, what we didn't say in the first program part was that in the birth of a child, when they coming away from the Lord Most High, that's when they born into the evilest world. Your separation from the whole makes you partial, makes you evil. Being part of something and not whole of something, the evil means being separated from it.
You took it to a degree when I used to explain to us about the word reality. The itties are the small imperfections. But once it comes from the perfect, once it's created, break off, now
it become a small part, which is the itty. Right. You got very deep dictionaries that'll tell you that, but then they got the common dictionary that'll never tell you that. You got dictionaries for the elite, you got dictionaries for the high thinkers in universities, you got dictionaries for the regular university and college students, you got dictionaries for the high school students, dictionaries for the elementary school students, and you got dictionaries for the gen, which is the highest dictionary, the men of power.
Right.
And some of them dictionaries you'll never see because they are like secrets. You know? Oh, you want one of these dictionaries? This dictionary costs $1,000. Who gonna spend $1,000 for that dictionary? $5,000 for that dictionary. You know? Right. And that dictionary break down the words that hides the truth that has been formed in this society. You know?
But people not recognizing in this day being of evil or being a part of the system, because I used to break down for us now this thing about the Antichrist. And people think, because they get the scripture where I used to say in the Bible that it's a number of a man. But I used to explain to you now, it is an institution of Antichrist that's opposing of the Lord El, which is part of the papacy in Rome, all that have a part in that cabal, I call it, as it's connected them all around the world, of conspiracy against people of color in this day, who fight those who wake up to the truth, to the reality of the Lord, and it keeps suppressing them, oppressing them, killing them. And anytime a man wake up, as you're saying, to this kind of reality, no airtime, no airplay, keep off cameras, like yourself, for real airplay that can really help people. But I either, out of his mercy, they'll give people that are in TV land many times thoughts, like the Kylie Tom, for example, said, there's still people come some message out here. And
after she got out letters, they cut her off and sent her somewhere else. But I either have reached, but I either have called them all. Sent letters to the people in positions of power all over this world. And they recognize okay, like you said, we can't announce him. Right. Because he's going against our stronghold or our foothold that we have on the people today. Break and if they wake up, then then our control is over. The whole thing about that is this. It don't matter whether one person listen to me or a million or a billion, 6 billion people listen to it. It don't matter, because I'm not the doer. I'm not the power. I'm not the force. I'm not the real. I'm a reflection of the real. You know, I'm a sign of the power, a sign of the force. You understand? And I deliver the message. You know, and the thing about it is you can't kill a messenger unless the power wants you to kill a messenger. Unless the force allows you to kill a messenger. You can't kill a message. You can't kill what's been promised to be. You know, unless that's what's a part of the promise. You understand? And it's not a part of the promise. Somehow the chosen people gonna rise. How much they'll rise, we don't know, but I don't know. You know, as of this moment. But the people, the chosen will rise. The chosen has been born. That which Allah said to Prophet Muhammad, you tell your people to do this, that, or the other, or I'm going to create a new people. But he had already put in the designs that it was creating a new people. Yeah. So these people of evil went and said, well, we don't care what the Lord said. We're going to do our thing anyway. And we're going to take these people from Africa and we're going to put them over here with these Asiatic black men and red men from China, these Native American Indians, Asiatic people, right? And mix them with that. Well, there's your chosen people right there. Those are newly created people right there. Something brought up out of evil.
Right.
Huh? They're not gonna stop. They're not gonna stop what the Lord has put in motion. And see, you got people running around now trying to re-educate people about the size of the time and what's going on, and telling them some of the truths about how Christianity and Judaism and different things was created and how long man has been here and who were the really holy men, and you know, still throwing their evil up in there to confuse the people. You know, that's why they saying, oh, Judas wasn't all bad.
Right, yeah.
It's a lie. You know Judas was bad. You know he turned against Jesus. You know he went and said what he said because he didn't believe. Just because Jesus said, I know who you are, didn't mean that, you know, Judas was good.
Right.
And Judas said, go ahead and turn on. Jesus said, go ahead and turn on me. Telling his disciples, you can turn on me because you're going to turn on me. So I'm just telling you, go ahead and say you don't know me, because they was going to do it anyway.
Right.
Because the Lord informed Jesus. You feel me? Yeah. So no matter what they do, if the people allow these people to come on the groove tube and trick them into thinking that Judas was good all of a sudden, and that Satan wasn't as bad as they thought he was, and Lucifer wasn't Satan, and you know, the light bearer of truth at one time, then I guess, you know, Jesus, out of all the prophets, the hundreds of thousands of prophets that came, was the only one that turned and said, okay, it's alright to eat hog. It's alright to eat swine. Now, why? If Jesus was the Lord's only begotten Son anyway, why would the Lord send down the words to not eat swine flesh in all the time of man, and then bring this one, say, okay, eat swine. I make all things good now. And then send a prophet behind and say, don't eat it.
Right.
Right.
You know, if I was a man of the Bible, and I seen that it said in the Bible, don't eat swine flesh, and then I seen that somebody put in there that said Jesus made all things good, and then I heard, because it ain't written in the Bible you can eat swine flesh, and then I heard the minister say it's all right to eat swine flesh, I tell that man, you better go somewhere. You know, because if Jesus made all things good, evidently it wasn't the swine, because he didn't specify the swine.
Right.
And all the prophets before him and the sons of the Lord before him said don't eat it.
Right.
The Lord said don't eat it. You know, not because like people say, well, you eat chicken? Chicken that nasty, man, get out of here. The Lord said don't eat that.
That's right.
If the Lord said don't eat fish, I wouldn't eat fish. You know? Yeah, you know, so it's like, you know, there's reason behind things.
Ahezaah mentioned, you know, this one, people may have a hard time taking this one in. But if you pay attention to what he's showing you in this holy book, the Bible, especially particularly because Ahezaah is mentioning us to us now that bulk of the evil that's purported out here today in Christianity, not what Ahezaah sent through Jesus, because Jesus never brought Christianity.
Right, Jesus wasn't the father of Christianity.
But the father, who was the real father of Christianity, this Apostle Paul, who is what you're talking about he read in the book of Acts that he said the Lord made a vision that he could kill all, and that's where that thing came from. It never came from Jesus.
Okay.
Paul is the one that said that.
But they attribute that to
Jesus, right, you know, and lied.
And they attribute sainthood to Paul. And he's a liar. He was a liar.
And I know people going to find offense too, but if you look at it, that bulk of Christianity today is based on the letters and writings of the Apostle Paul, not of what Jesus brought forth, any of that.
And what was approved by the Romans in that day and time, and the descending Jews who was afraid of the Romans and who wanted to have their own way. You know, and then with Constantine and his people 300 years later who said, wait a minute, some of these books is hurting us because the truth is too clear in it. So we got to get rid of some of these books out of this Bible. Let's compile a Bible and say this is it.
Right.
Let's agree on something.
And that history is no different because Allah is caused the law clear cut across his board as the sign of this hour of the day that it's calling all the religions of all the ways of life have gone astray.
Yes.
They have done the same thing in Islam as well.
Right.
They created their religion within the religion. The Hadithites have taken the same thing again. You know, and they said we're going to get this Bible together, make one Bible that they had different dialects from or different versions of or languages from to make this one Quran. And then they all burnt the other copies, you know, because of dialect.
Right.
Again, they have taken what Ahezaah sent down.
Let me give you a little sign of something. We was good for nothing in the eyes of all men.
Oh yeah.
Right? Why is it all of a sudden when our time comes in this day of judgment, this day of revelation, all of a sudden we become so accepted? Doors is open for us. Right. Jobs, high positions, presidency. Huh? Because the supporters of the devil have to do something to equal what the Lord is doing for us, to keep us away from the call of the Lord.
Right, right.
He's gone as far as he could go in the churches with us.
Right.
Because they don't want to put no ministers up in the president's office. That's why Jesse never had a chance.
Yeah. Them or Al.
Yeah, never had a chance. Because they coming from a religious background. And they know through the history of time for man, religion and politics always clashed at the top. That's why you still got the priests, the papacy. They got laws and orders of their own. And they've established a little state that they call a whole nation in Vatican City. To support them today. Support the ones who really leading this whole thing in secrecy. The one that the Lord spelled out so clearly in the book of Revelation. If you can't see the Pope in there in chapter, what is it, 17, 18? If you can't see the Pope in there, you are as blind as can be.
Ahezaah said, bedecked with the gold and jewel, cold and blood and stained with the saints, wearing the little
the golden garments.
That's him.
The golden cup, you know? I mean, but they look at us as, oh, look at these people preaching hatred. We're not preaching hatred. We're not talking about hatred. We're only talking about what is at this time. See, when you talk about what the Lord is bringing down, you got to go to where it wrote it.
Right.
You know, this is not a religious program. I don't want to be looked at as a religious program. This is an informative program. We're informing about social situations. It just so happened that our information, we had to go into the religious books to get it. And show you religiously where it's at in the world.
And they're experiencing hatred because when they hear truth and it's going against their value system, they hate it.
Well, one thing though, you know, things is tied up so heavy, man, that it really don't matter. You know, like maybe on the next show we could talk about Satan's claws, Santa Claus that was missing this year from Macy's and what have you over this on this side of the water. You know, everything was dark, man, and people were unhappy, and they didn't hear no cheering and no jingle bell songs and what have you, man. It's wild, but let's get out of here and get ready for part 4.
As always, a beautiful conversation with the message of Ahezaah, my brother here. This has been an I-Had moment to calm before the storm. As I said before, if you want to reach us by correspondence, I-Had Incorporated, Post Office Box 8795, Newark, New Jersey, 07103, or via the internet at Third House, T-H-I-R-D. HOUSSE at yahoo.com. It's been a pleasure, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen.
Yes, praise.
Brother
Praise
Fat Kid. It's been a pleasure. Thank y'all for tuning this program. Great in New York. May the Lord bless you and have a good evening.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you